Introduction: The double nature of academic publishing. Hello everyone. Welcome back to our series on scientific inquiry and academic integrity. Today, we present Lecture 6, The Clash of Ideologies in Academic Publishing. In research, we often view academic journals and the peer review system with a degree of skepticism, believing that mainstream institutions inherently resist dissenting ideas. However, my experience publishing our 2020 paper in the American Journal of Physics revealed a much more nuanced, fascinating reality. Our paper, co-authored with Professor Michael Drew, was accepted precisely because the editors recognized the value of our unique, non-consensus pedagogical approach. Yet, the journey from manuscript to the final printed proof perfectly illustrates the delicate balance an independent scholar must strike between personal scientific vision and the collective consensus of the academic world. Part 1: The Mathematical Beauty of DS, TV, and DS, TP. Let us first look at the core physical contribution of our work. In classical thermodynamics, students are often taught different methods to calculate the relationship between the heat capacity at constant pressure and constant volume. What I am most satisfied with in this paper is the mathematical revelation of the intrinsic connection between ds, Tv, and ds, Tp, expressed elegantly in our equations 12 and 14, and their integrated forms in equations 25 and 26. By applying the mathematical chain rule, Maxwell relations, and exact differentials, we prove that entropy's path independence is not just a conceptual abstraction, it is a mathematically tight, unified identity. We also independently developed the Jacobian determinant derivations from first principles. We believe that true physical concepts cannot be thoroughly understood by skipping the math. To truly grasp thermodynamics, students must be taught the rigorous methods behind the concepts, rather than just memorizing a single, simplified derivation. Part 2: The Reviewer's Challenge as a Brilliant Counterexample. During the peer review of our paper, an anonymous reviewer raised an incredibly profound and challenging question. They noted that in various experimental reports in the literature, measurements of Cp/Cv for water around 0 to 4 degrees Celsius showed contradictory results, some positive, some negative. They asked, is this experimental error, or is there an underlying physical explanation? Now, I have often expressed my deep distrust of mainstream peer review. But this specific interaction stands as a magnificent, positive counterexample. It proves that peer review, at its best, acts as a collaborative catalyst for elevating scientific truth. In responding to this brilliant query, we expanded our paper to include equations 35 through 38. For water between 0 and 4 degrees Celsius, volume decreases as temperature rises. However, because the internal energy of liquid water depends heavily on volume, we theoretically proved that Cp/Cv greater than 0 is strictly preserved in all physical states. This reviewer's question forced us to sharpen our theoretical tools, resolve a historical experimental dispute, and vastly elevate the overall scientific completeness of our paper. Part 3: Meticulous Editing and the Collective Consensus Model. Once our paper was accepted, the editors performed an exceptionally thorough, line-by-line rewrite of our entire text. I must express my sincere respect for their outstanding dedication. They put immense effort into polishing our presentation, ensuring that the paper read with elegant, native English precision. As my co-author Professor Drew rightly noted, the final edited version read beautifully and professionally. However, in this meticulous process, the editors also systematically removed our broad, passionate critiques regarding the math-avoidant nature of modern textbooks. Why did they do this? It was not out of personal malice. It is because of the defining philosophy of modern publishing. Academic journals operate on a collective consensus model. Their priority is to cultivate harmony, ensure universal acceptability, and avoid intense, polarizing disputes that might invite future administrative trouble. To publish our core thermodynamic proofs, we gladly accepted this reality. We adapted our tone to meet the consensus standards of the community, recognizing it as a necessary bridge to share our physical discoveries with the world. Conclusion: The Dual Paths of Science. This experience inspired my theoretical preprint on SSRN, Conflict of Interest in Academic Publishing, a question of accountability in the pursuit of truth. We must recognize that both pathways serve science. The collective consensus model of journals preserves, polishes, and organizes shared knowledge into stable standards. But we also need the individual truth-seeking model, an arena where independent scholars, free from the pressure of mainstream approval, can voice raw, sharp-edged, and uncompromising theoretical truths. By appreciating the dedication of editors and reviewers while retaining our inner intellectual independence, we advance both the pedagogy and the frontier of physical science. Thank you for watching. Please share your thoughts on scientific rigor and peer review in the comments below, and I will see you in the next lecture.